Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Schultz, I think many of us on the committee can agree that there are inefficiencies in the way Forest Service has done business in the past, and that the agency is facing a lot of increasing costs, including from expensive real estate. I think Congress absolutely needs to provide your agency with more resources, because we're asking you to do more, and we're forcing you to do more at the moment with less. But this reorganization proposal causes me great concern, particularly because it has been put forward without any congressional input. I want to submit this LA Times article that ran yesterday for the record from two former secretaries of agriculture serving under Presidents Clinton and George W. Bush, which raise important oversight concerns with the reorganization proposal. This is the piece: the Forest Service is too important to be a political pawn.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The U.S. Forestry Service reorganization website lists 6 of 8 research and development facilities slated for closure in California. This is more than any other state. The website also lists R&D facilities are still under evaluation, meaning there are dozens of other research and development sites across the country with unclear status. These research stations study wildfire risk, as well as the most effective ways to restore land in a more resilient way after wildfires. Chief Schultz, the Forest Service is committed that wildfire response coordination during the fire season won't be affected by the reorganization. But how can we be sure of the Forest Service's ability to reduce wildfire risk in the future? How can we be sure that it won't be harmed by shutting down these research stations, which, among other things, study wildfire risk and resilient response methods? The President's budget proposal to eliminate the Forest Service Research and Development Branch doesn't give much confidence that this key science will be valued properly. In particular, why was California hit so hard by targeted facility closures? I understand we may have more facilities than some other states, but no state faces wildfire risks more acute than California. And what criteria are being used to determine that these offices should be closed, or if other offices should be closed?
Senator Schiff, Mr. Chairman, thank you for the breadth of questions. So let's talk about wildfire in California first. You made a statement which I 100% agree with. You said that there's probably more risk to California than any other state, and that is 100% true. When we've looked at the data and what has happened in California just in the last 5 years, it's about 22% of the national forests have burned in the last 5 years in California. There's about 20 million acres of national forest. I've been to California 4 times, Southern California, Northern California, Central California, looking at for myself on the ground to see what's happening. Huge impacts from wildfire in California, as you know firsthand from being there. In terms of our resources, we are resourced up in California to make sure that we have the ability to fight fire effectively. In terms of research, I've met with our researchers out there at the Pacific Southwest Station. They're doing great work. So I want to assure you, you're looking for some assurance here that we are not going to reduce research. Not going to reduce research in California. We're not going to reduce research elsewhere. What we're looking at doing with the reorganization is, again, looking at our facilities and making sure where we have facilities, are there opportunities to co-locate staff. In some cases, we have facilities, and 10 miles down the road, we have a forest supervisor's office, and we have 2 facilities that we could consolidate and have staff in one and save the government money. So that's what our intent is, really to look closely at where we have facilities, not to impact research and not to impact researchers. That's our intent, and that's how we've structured this reorganization. But you're right, and we are going to continue to focus on working to reduce fuels and fight fire aggressively in California to protect those communities and those people in California.
Has USDA or Forest Service done any analysis of the expected staff attrition that might come about as a result of the reorganization? I'm not aware of any. If it's been done, has that been done?
Senator Schiff, Mr. Chairman, we've not done any just speculation in terms of what might happen. We do know, as has been stated previously, I've commented on this previously, we've had over the last year about 6,500 people have taken DRP, which is the voluntary retirement program that was offered across the country. We have anticipated right now with the folks that would have to be relocated from their current location, from Portland, from Milwaukee, from the Washington, D.C. office, and from Atlanta, we're estimating about 500 people out of about 30,000 would have to physically relocate. So some percentage of those could theoretically choose not to relocate. So we don't anticipate overall that it's going to be a significant number of people. Most people have probably already left the agency.
And with the planned cuts to staff and anticipated attrition, will the Forest Service have enough red-carded staff to meet firefighting needs if we end up with a national fire preparedness level of 5?
Senator Schiff, Mr. Chairman, yes. So I indicated we actually have more red-carded folks this year than we've had in the last several years. But we've increased our red-carded folks just over the last year by about 450 people that are prepared to fight fire this year. So we do feel like we've done outreach over this last year just to shore up that component of our firefighting capacity in red-carded personnel. And on the firefighters, which we typically look at as GS9 and below, that 11,300. Like I said, today we're at just over 11,000 people that we've hired and brought on board before in the height of the fire season. Typically will happen sometime in mid to late June, if not even July. So we're ahead of where we've been over the last several years with bringing on our firefighting workforce.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.